My name is Jim Connor, and welcome to this special edition of Game Changer Silicon Valley. My guest is Rishi Kumar, a longtime Saratoga City Council member, technology entrepreneur, and community advocate. Rishi, welcome to the show.
Great to be back.
Thanks. You've been a frequent guest on a wide range of issues. So let's start with the reasons you are running for the office of county assessor.
Well, we saw Larry Stone retire. People had been telling me to run in this particular seat. And when I looked at the background and the qualifications, we needed somebody who understands finance, who understands operations, who understands modernization, because the county assessor office hasn't really modernized in decades. We still have old COBOL systems. And we also need the ability to manage a large budget and manage a fairly large team. And so I got the checkbox in pretty much everything. My objective is always to create optimization in government and try to see how we can send money back to people. Because the premise is that when we send the money to government, it's very likely that much of it is not spent very frugally or efficiently. And some of it is actually wasted, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
So I felt that someone like me can make a big difference. And that's the reason why we said, let's jump in. And I'm the only candidate who has the modernization experience. I've done that when I was part of IBM. We did that with Kaiser Permanente, with Gap Incorporated, with Blue Shield California. So I bring those deep skills, plus managing hundreds of people in my day job. So I'm the only one who brings that experience. We said, let's go and win this and make a difference for the people.
You do bring experience, and this is a nonpartisan position, right? It's a financial, fiscal management position. Do the assessments correctly, handle the challenges, if you will, or the appeals. And I've heard a lot of rumblings, if you will, about how poorly the appeal process was working on a huge backlog.
We have 1,000 stuck appeals every year.
How much?
1,000 stuck appeals, and
wow.
These should be automated. We have software that does that. There are assessors across the country that are using AI-enabled software to do much of the activities. We are spending $43 million of taxpayer funds in this particular office. We can shave off. What I'm telling people is in the first 5 years, I'm going to shave off $10 million,
$10 million in the first 5 years, is that an average of $2 million? You're going to ramp up. How's that going to work?
Yes, by just applying software,
Software?
The heavy lifting is now being done by software, and there are so many examples of counties all over the country. And it's a drop in the bucket because in the next 10 years, as the next county assessor, we will really save a lot of money and send it back to the taxpayers, or use it for road repair, use it for law enforcement, use it for critical services.
I don't want to go too much in the past, but how does it happen that in Silicon Valley, the most technology-enabled world, that the government is so old in terms of its technology implementation?
Yes, that's the failure of the county assessor's office. For decades, we didn't have any modernization done, and the employee morale was pretty low. And now, we are seeking to pass the baton from one failure to next. I believe we need somebody who's an outsider. We don't need a lawyer in the assessor's office because lawyers don't know how to modernize. Or we don't need hardware engineers because they don't know how to modernize. So, I have those skill sets that are needed in this particular role, and we can get the job done. It's time for a new way forward, and the people should elect somebody who has that technology background who can get stuff done.
So let me go to the most controversial of your positions, and that is your offer or your claim that you can eliminate or reduce or perhaps do away with entirely the property taxes of senior citizens. I assume that's 65 and older, or maybe there's an older age. Could you give us a little details on that? I had a lot of feedback from my friends. I play tennis, and I run these ideas by them, and they go, sounds good to me, sounds good to me. And the young guy goes, what am I going to get? Am I going to have to wait till I'm 65? I said, I don't know. I'll ask Rishi if there's a staggered way to get into that. But go ahead and give us your insights.
So firstly, for the younger people, we have a reputation of sending money back. Don't raise taxes. So, and it doesn't mean that we'll rob Peter and pay Paul, So the taxes will not go up for anyone. What we are talking about is exempting seniors, 60 plus age groups actually. Exempt them from property taxes because they have worked hard for a living. My agenda has always been for seniors. Ever since the time I started running Saratoga's Got Talent to raise money for the senior center, or fighting San Jose Water Company to reject the water utility rate hikes that were really hurting seniors. So when I looked at this race, I said it's time to send money back to seniors because the county has been wasting our tax dollars, and I'll give you multiple examples of that. And the question is, how do we do that? And rishikumar.com/seniors provides background and context. The bottom line is there are 16 states across the country that have already done that or are in the process of doing that. There are assessors across the country that are engaging in this topic. Property tax reform is imminent. It's sweeping the country. And I would like to say that I'm the first person in California who's actually proposing it.
That's
because, our government wants our tax dollars. And nobody in California has proposed it yet, but I want to do it. I want to send money back to the people with things like Prop 8 declines. When our properties decline in a downturn, the money should be sent back to people. We should reduce their assessments and send the money back to people automatically, which is what Fong Lu in Alameda County has done. We should have done this a while back. We haven't quite done that.
A lot of my friends are fiscal people, and they go, well, exactly how is Rishi going to pay for this? I mean, you gave me some numbers about what is the potential reduction in overhead or costs at the county, and that would roughly match the amount that revenue would drop. So you might have a break-even situation on the reducing the taxes to seniors. Is that correct?
Yes, I get this question very often, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, Rishi, you're going to return money back to seniors, and our county is going to have a little deficit when we exempt seniors. Mm-hmm. But you look at the kind of deficit that the county is dealing with right now. I'll give you two examples. Healthcare has exploded from a $1.5 billion OPEX just barely 10 years ago to $7 billion OPEX, operational expenses, for the same number of people, 2 million people. So why have we increased our healthcare expense when we were doing just fine with $1.5 billion? The county actually wanted to acquire Medicare funds from the feds and all sorts of other federal funds. And they said, let's go and acquire failing hospitals. Let's expand our operation and we'll get those tax dollars. Unfortunately, it was too good to last. That money has been pulled. The red carpet has been pulled under the feet and the county is reeling. Instead of cutting back, they are not quite. Secondly, we are also looking at the light rail and VTA. We are in the red, $1 billion a year. Only 8% of the money comes in from ticketing revenue. The rest, we are bleeding cash. So there are multiple ways to save money. I believe with all these proposals that we have put together, we can easily generate about $4 to $5 billion of savings for the county, which will be much higher, much greater than the deficit that will be incurred when we exempt seniors from property tax. And again, we are talking about keeping the services, keeping the funding for education, keeping the funding for schools, roads, law enforcement, keep everything intact, but optimize the heck out of the Santa Clara County operations with a forensic audit. We can do it.
And let me give you an opportunity to speak directly to your constituency, the voters here, of your purpose and mission and what you will bring to this county assessor's office.
Well, my job is to send money back to the people and optimize government. I believe the assessor's office is, spending a little too much money because we haven't quite modernized. We haven't applied the tools of today. $43 million is a lot of money, and it's time to send money back to the people, provide the savings with modernization. I have the skills and background. But more importantly, the predecessor, Larry Stone, was in favor of doing a split roll because he said the commercial properties, let's do a full property tax assessment on commercial properties by doing a split roll. And it was on the ballot in 2020. Fortunately, it was defeated by the people, 52 to 48. The thing is, there is a thirst for tax dollars in California. And I'm the only one who's saying that I will pledge to protect Prop 13 in this race. Because if you dismantle it for commercial properties, residential will be next. Because the thing is, nobody in government today wants to optimize. They all want more and more of our tax dollars. So the reason I'm running is to basically create that optimization, send money back to the people. When there are declines happening with properties, automate that, where people don't have to file appeals, and we are sending the money back into their bank accounts. That's the way it should be done. People should not be trying to find information about property tax. It should be sent to their phones and emails. People should be easily able to find information. And that's the kind of service I would like to offer. But more importantly, I would like to see how we can exempt seniors. They have worked pretty hard. We need their biggest angst is basically rising taxes. They're afraid of losing their homes and rising utility bills. And I want to fix that one problem, which is when they're afraid of losing homes, they're losing sleep over it. And I believe I can make it easier by exempting them from property tax. But interestingly, people have said it's a big lie. And that's what they're promoting in Silicon Valley. People who are thirst for taxpayer dollars, they're saying that it's a big lie that anybody can exempt property taxes. Well, there's a playbook. Look at 16 states that are in the process of doing it, that already done it. The state of Virginia has exempt veterans from property taxes. It can be done. There are states like Washington, Colorado that have exempt seniors, and it's a start because I think this is sweeping the country. By the way, I think there are three big lies that have been promoted in the assessor's office, in the assessor's race. One is the fact that you need a piece of paper to be elected to assessor, a certification paper. Larry Stone wasn't certified with anything when he was elected in 1992, nor his predecessor. So when people say that I'm the only one who can be elected to assessor because I have a piece of paper, that's like a lie and it's complete falsehood. There are 4 candidates running. Anybody can win, and they have a whole year to get certified. I'm a mechanical engineer. I believe I can get certified with anything I like. I went through a grad school. I'm a PhD dropout. Anyway, the second lie is that modernization of assessor's office has been done. No, it hasn't been done. There was a contract signed on June 30th. It'll take 3 to 4 years to modernize. And initially they said it's already modernized. Then they changed the story that, no, we have started the process. I can do it. No, it's not true. And then they are saying that, oh, the property tax thing is a lie. Nobody can exempt seniors. Well, 16 states have done it. Go take a look at the playbook, rishikumar.com/seniors. I know I can get it done. I'll tell you why I'll get it done, Jim. Because when people on my city council said, Rishi, you can't fight San Jose Water Company with their utility rate hikes because we do not have jurisdiction over San Jose Water Company. It's PUC that does. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm going to give it a fight. And you know what? We rejected, reduced, suspended 10 water rate increases, rishikumar.com/water. When you want to do it, it can be done. And that's the reason why I'm telling you that we will exempt seniors from property taxes. That's the plan, and we'll get it done.
I just want to follow up one thing because I've read some counterpoints and just let you explain because people do read this and wonder, well, the statement I read is why you can't get it done is that there are existing state of California laws that would prohibit you from doing that unilaterally. I don't know if that's true. I know you can go ahead and get those laws changed, but let you respond to that point.
So one is, we have, rishikumar.com/seniors has a 4-pronged approach. One is work through legislators. One is work through a board of supervisors right here in the county. Fourth is, when you look at the state of Virginia, we have done a state constitutional amendment. And that's exactly what we can do here as well, but apply it to seniors. And finally, the very last option, which I really don't want to, is you recover the property tax at sale. So you basically stop the property tax payment. When the property sells, you recover that money. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in approaching it from a full exemption of property taxes. And we have clearly explained what other states are. This is not something I invented. We have copied the playbook of other states. They have already done this. When people say it's a lie, clearly they haven't educated themselves. There are no reformist candidates who are running who want to reform property taxes and send money back to the people. I'm the only one in this race.
Well, let's give our audience a way to follow up, contact you, make a donation, get involved in your campaign.
Firstly, please consider voting for somebody who's going to send money back to your pocketbooks. That's what I've done all my life as an elected leader, as an activist, stopping utility rate hikes, stopping tax increases. I'm the only one in my city council who actually stood against a tax increase and rejected it by getting consensus eventually, right? So I can get the job done. And I would be honored to get your vote. And if you can make a campaign contribution at rishikumar.com, we would really appreciate it. We are a grassroots team. I fight for your interest, never the special interest. I would love to get your support.
Rishi, thank you so much. I've always enjoyed having you on this show. You've been just a great source of information and spirit. You got the spirit, and you are here fighting for the people. So I want to wish you every success going forward. And again, wish you the very best in the
Thank
outcome.
you so much, Jim. It was an honor to be on your show.
Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Game Changers Silicon Valley. If today's conversation helped shed light on an important local issue, please share this podcast with your friends and networks. As Barack Obama was quoted, elections have consequences, and you have the opportunity to set the direction for the county and the state in this upcoming election. You can watch all of our shows at GameChangers.tv or listen to the podcast at Game Changers Silicon Valley and most podcast apps. We look forward to your continued interest and participation in upcoming shows.